Okay, so I have officially started recording the session. Just make sure that you mute your phone for any outside noise. We won't be on here long. We're just going to be on here just a few minutes. And then if you have any questions about anything, let me know. Okay, so for starters, I have graded everything from week one, so you should be able to see where you are. Both of you all are doing well in the class. Um, So just keep up the good work on that. You seem to be doing pretty good on keeping up with your activities and stuff, and that's good because I know Mary, you have another class that's at night. And Kiana, is this your only class this month?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. So,
But I do have a
Hello.
question. I do have a question about the activity from day two,
hmm
and it's pretty much the same problem that I had when I was doing the double classes. And I have files that had the same name, and I think I attached the wrong file for that activity. But I guess I was asking if I could try and resubmit it. But if not, that's okay too.
for day two,
Mhm.
yeah, I kind of figured that's probably what happened. Okay. Okay, so I'll text you after the meeting because
Okay.
if that was the case, you'll have to wait till we get out the meeting so
Okay.
we can fix all of that. Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. Um.
Mm.
Okay. So this week, like for today, let's just kind of go over what you got to do for today. Or no, let's just go over for like this week. Okay. So this week we have scheduled chapters 5, 6, and 7. So chapter 5 is technology as it applies to public health. And you know, public health, when we talk about public health, you know, we're mainly talking about, or one of the main things we talk about is CDC, because technology, that's how it's used to track epidemics and diseases. That's how come your discussion that you're doing for today and tomorrow centers around that. But because it centers around, you know, diseases, epidemics, weather related items, you know, if we didn't have technology, how could we track where epidemics are? How could we track where outbreaks are? How do we gather statistics? If you can just imagine if you were an epidemiologist and you worked for the state of Alabama and you had to keep up with the number of AIDS cases or the number of hepatitis cases or um, tuberculosis cases, or just think.
Hey, Miss James, I gotta hang up my computer. I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
Yes, I can.
My computer telling me to close it or something.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you.
You hear me? You can hear me, Mary?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I've heard you all along. I'm not sure what happened.
My computer went to, I could hear you, but I don't like you could hear me at first. It kept saying something about close. It had a little thing on it saying close it.
Oh, okay. So like I was saying, for if you were an epidemiologist and you were staying in the state of Alabama and you had to come up with the statistics for these different diseases, that is not something you would want to do on paper. When you think about charts, graphs, the amount of data, who wants to sit and do that on paper? You can't do that. You've got to have computers to be able to do that type of information gathering of data, because that is it's much easier to create your graphs, your tables, your statistics. All of that is much, much better when you have technology. So technology in public health is a must. For an example, think about when you have to go and retrieve birth certificates, death certificates, immunization records. You wouldn't want to have to be flipping through a whole bunch of papers. Everything now is fixed where you can get a lot of things done electronically. So having technology in public health is very, very key. And that's what chapter 4 talks about. Okay. Chapter 5, I'm sorry. In chapter 6, that is the chapter on information technology and radiology. Okay. So pretty much radiology is anything that has to do with graphical images or digital images as it relates to patients and their conditions. So you're going to talk about the importance of having radiology, the importance of having technology in radiology, and you're also going to be introduced to some of the different types
Ms. Gaines, I can't hear you.
You're also going to be, Kiana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Mary, I'm not sure what it is. So you can hang up the phone. I mean, you can do the computer and do the phone, but you can't do both of them because it's distracting on my end. So you're going to be able to,
Okay.
you're also going to be able to see some of the different pieces of technology that's in the radiology department as well in chapter 6. And then in chapter 7, it talks about information technology in surgery. And it's the cutting edge. So basically you go into talking about robotics and what the future holds for operating rooms. Because now when you go into an operating room, it is so vastly technologically advanced. And what I mean by that, it's like every single thing that is done to you in surgery is so much more advanced than what it used to be years ago. And that's because you have what you call computer assisted surgery. And this is where you have instrumentation that can help perform that minimally invasive surgeries. Like say, for instance, now when a person goes in to have fat removed, or they go in to have some type of robotic surgery, a lot of that stuff now can be done through laser, and it used to didn't be like that. I mean, years ago, you didn't have all of that different type of technology. Now you can go in and have sleeves put in to strict your stomach and things of that nature, and a lot of that is done through the advancement of the technology that we have. So you're going to learn about those different things in chapter 7. So that's mainly what we concentrate on this week is chapters 5, 6, and 7. Now, as far as your activities for this week, today you actually have a quiz that it really covers information from chapter 4. So you have that to do today. You know that you have your journal, and your journal, of course, you have until tomorrow night to turn in your journal. And then you have the initial post of your discussion number 3. Okay, homework this week will consist of chapters 5, 6, and 5, 6, and 7. That's going to be what your homework chapters consist of this week. Tomorrow, your activity tomorrow is you're going to do 2 databases. Tomorrow you're going to do your first 2 databases. Now, I'm going to tell you up front, when you get ready to open day 6 activity, you may have to open up supplemental documents that go with day 6. Like your day 6 may be just your first page of day 6 may be just an instruction sheet, and your information that goes with it may be in a different attachment. So just make sure that if you see multiple attachments for day 6, make sure you open up everything. And usually if I do multiple attachments of something like I did with day 4, I'll say number 1, number 2, number 3, because you need to open them in that order, because usually number 1 is going to be the one that has your instructions listed there. Now, the database that you do tomorrow is going to be a demographic database. It is just a beginner to kind of get your feet wet as to what you can expect while you creating it in Excel. So yes, you're going to have to use Excel. You're going to have 2 different ones. I'm going to give you a demographic database to do, and then you're also going to do one for radiology. Okay, so your radiology database may not necessarily be patients. It is simply going to be a database that you're creating for me, based on the number of images in different categories that were collected for a particular month. You're going to have to tally up to get the total amount of each one of them. You're going to do that. So with that being said, I may tell you on that radiology database, I may say for your total for each column, you're going to have to give me the formula. And then I may tell you what formula to use. When I give you the formula, I'm only giving you the formula for that one cell. Because you've had Excel, you should know what to do with that formula to get that same formula in the rest of your cells. And then all you would have to do is, once you copy that formula into the rest of your cells, it shall automatically calculate your calculations for you. Okay? So if I don't do that, you're still going to be responsible for giving me the totals. It's just more or less either you can do the formula then on your own if I don't give it to you, or you could just simply add up the numbers. But if you add the numbers manually, you have got to pay attention to what you're plugging in, because remember, this is a database, it's part of a report. And so as managers, when you having to manually calculate something or manually put something in a database, you have to be very, very careful as to how you typing it in there, so that you won't have errors and mistakes. So just know tomorrow you're going to have, like I said, you're going to have 2 databases. The first one is going to be a demographic database, and the second one is going to be a radiology database. Now, your database that you have tomorrow, you're going to be asked to save it either on a desktop, a flash drive, or somewhere, because you're going to go back next week and you're going to revisit that database, but this time you're going to have a different sheet. It may be same patients, but it's going to be additional information on those patients. Okay? And so when you get ready to send that to me and I open up the attachment, I have got to see the very first 2 or 3 tabs you had already set up from the beginning. If I don't see that, you can't get full credit for that database. So every database builds off of each other unless I say this is a brand new database. And when that happens, that probably won't happen till we get to week 4. Okay, that probably won't happen till we get to week 4, but that may change. Okay, so tomorrow, just know I went over what you got to do for today. So tomorrow, just know that you got to do a database for tomorrow. And then, of course, video lecture, that's just listen to the lecture or whatever. But your actual activity is the database. And then you're going to do your responses for your discussion number 3. You got to do your response posts. If you don't do them today, you got to do them tomorrow. Then on day 7, that's Wednesday, you're going to do some terms and definitions. You have a brand new threaded discussion that you got to do, which is day 4, the initial post. And then, of course, you got your homework, chapter 7. Okay, and then day 8, that's Thursday. On that day, I have you set to do some case studies. And I also have you set to do quiz 4. And quiz 4 is going to cover material from chapters 5 through 7. And then let's see what else I got wrote down here. So for Thursday, you're gonna have some case studies that you got to do. You're gonna have a quiz 4, and that's gonna be on chapters 5, 6, and 7. And you're gonna do your responses for discussion number 4. And then the only other thing that you're doing Wednesday night, Thursday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're really just kind of studying for your midterm, because you're going to take your midterm the following Monday, which is day 9. Okay, so I'll kind of hit that one more time. So tonight is going to be quiz 3, which is on material from chapter 4, telemedicine. The initial post of discussion number 3, and of course you can turn your journal in either tonight or tomorrow night. Then tomorrow, Tuesday, you're going to have 2 databases that you got to do. You're going to have a demographic database, and you're going to have a radiology database. The instructions and everything will be with it. So read the instructions carefully. And I'm going to tell you up front, yes, you got to do an Excel spreadsheet for this. So you cannot use Word for this at all. It will all be in Microsoft Excel. And then you got to do your responses for your discussion number 3. And of course, you got homework, of course, 5, 6, and 7 for this week. Then on Wednesday, you have terms and definitions that you're going to do, and your initial post for discussion number 4. And then on Thursday, you're going to do case studies, quiz number 4, which will be on material for 5 through 7, and your response post for discussion number 4. And
how long will quiz 4 be? How long will quiz 4 be?
I'm not
How much time you gonna give us?
I'm not sure. It's not all the way complete.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not all the way complete. Trying to see what else. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, for the database, I don't want you, this is like really easy stuff. It's nothing to it. It's just a matter of organization, and it teaches you, because I do still have students, as easy as it may seem, I still have students that struggle with database. I'm going to tell you why. If my instructions tell you that you have to format the date of birth and all of that a certain way, I'm looking for you to do that. So if I say for your date of birth, it needs to be formatted 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and a 4-digit year using slashes, then you got to do it like that. Or if I say formatted 2-digit month, 2-digit year, and a 2-digit month, day, and year, and I tell you to use dashes, you got to do it like that. I've always had students that they just want to do it however they want to. So what some of them did, they started it out doing it wrong. They started out doing it wrong and just continue on to do it. Or I have some start out doing wrong, catch themselves, and then they do the rest of them right, but then they never go back and fix the other ones. So I count off for each one of those. Every one of your errors counts a point. So if you got 20 patients, for example, if you got 20 patients and you put the date of birth in the wrong format on all 20 patients, that is 20 points up front. That is just like 20 points. So you got to be really, really careful with that. Let me see. Some other things, capitalization. So when I give these things to students, it's just a matter of taking the information that you've been given on one document and you just put it in an Excel spreadsheet. Like I'll tell you what headings to use. I'll tell you how to format the information that I'm looking for. If I say that transactions have to be in currency format, then you have to do it in currency format. And when I say currency, I'm talking about dollar signs and decimal points. If I say you got to have 2 decimal places, you got to have 2 decimal places. Because if you're not careful, your transactions can almost look like ICD-9 codes. Because, some of your ICD-9 codes, like 687.9, 385.2, those are diagnosis codes. So you got to be able to have the distinction between the two. So a lot of the database is not the information that's hard, because the information is given from me. I give you everything that you need. Now, I start the first database off I do it one or two ways. I'll either upload you some patient reports, or I'll just upload you patient information in a Word document. I'll do either or. If I upload patient reports, that's going to be in a PDF. So the things that I'm saying, when I mention PDF, Excel, Word, if you know that you don't have these things, you've got to go and get those things. So if that means that you got to go to the school, you got to go to the library, you have to do that. If you can't pull up PDF on your iPad, or you don't have Adobe Reader and stuff, you got to go and get that, because you got to be able to get that information that you need in order to complete the databases. The patient reports that I give you are to be used for school purposes only. So even though you know that, I still expect all students to still treat that patient report or that patient information as confidential as you can. So what that means you wouldn't be
can't tell nobody, can't let nobody see.
Yeah, you can't let nobody. You wouldn't let nobody see that. Then you have to do the same thing with this. I know you may say, "Well, it's for the school anyway," but you still have to be careful with that, because somebody else could mistaken it to think that you showing somebody else's medical work and all that kind of stuff. So you have to be really, really careful with that. So still treat it like that. You should be doing that anyway. And if you're doing it, that's your expectation of your employees. Okay, so like I said, the databases are not hard. I don't want you to freak out about them. I usually give pretty good instructions as to what you need to do. You just have to pace yourself, slow yourself down, and take your time doing the database. That's all you got to do. And once you get it all set up, I always tell students, set your database up first. Do that first. Set up everything I'm asking for first. That means set up all your headings, your formats, your everything. Set everything up. And then do one patient at a time. I would stress, even if we was face-to-face in the classroom, I would be stressing this just as hard. Do one patient at a time. I fuss about this all the time, because I have students, they like to be like, okay, well, I'm going to put in all the date of birth on all my students. So they flip. They just be flipping through paper. Flipping. It never fails. They be on John Smith paper, but Paula Green's line on the Excel spreadsheet. They done lost their place. So when I pull up the database, I'm simply saying to myself, oh my God, don't none of this match the pay. And when I ask the student, oh, I was looking at so-and-so pay. That's why I say do one patient at a time. And when you do that one patient, before you start the next patient, go through there and make sure you got all your information right for the first patient. Especially if you get those patients that are married and it's the wife that's the patient, but it's the husband's insurance, and I'm asking for insurance information, and you putting the wrong, erroneous information, you got to be really careful with that type of stuff. Okay, so that's the only thing I have to say about the databases. That it's not hard, but you got to pay attention. It was just like when you all was doing claims in medical insurance process. If you weren't paying attention, you'll be putting in the wrong diagnosis code and procedure. You looking at the right patient, but your screen is somebody else. So that's what I mean by, just kind of paying attention. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, these databases are not hard at all. They're not. But make sure you save your databases every time you do one. Make sure you save them, okay? Other than that, I do not have anything else. That's just all I
Will,
have.
will you be giving us an example of it?
You don't need an example. All you have to do is open up Excel and create the headings. Like if I tell you to open up Excel, and I'm gonna be very, very specific. I'll tell you to open up Excel. I'll tell you to put and like what I'll do, I have like if I get like Excel spreadsheet, maybe one of your supplements that you'll have. So like I'll tell you to open up Excel spreadsheet. When you open it up, if I wanted title or anything like that, I'll already have all that stuff on there. From that
Oh,
point,
okay.
from that point, it's on you. That means I'm gonna tell you what headings to create, and I'll tell you that before you send it to me, you gotta format it. Meaning that if you gotta widen columns, you gotta widen columns. If I have to do it, those are points. If I have to widen the
Oh,
columns, so you gotta. When I open up that Excel spreadsheet, I should be able to fully see patients' addresses, date of births, social security numbers. If I have to format it to see that, that's a step that you missed. That means you missed something in the instructions. You didn't do something right. So it's not like you have to have a example. You just have to just follow the instructions like step by step by step because you're creating databases. It'll be the same thing we was in Microsoft Excel. It'll be the same thing. You'll be creating headings, everything. It's the same thing. It's just that this you're using Excel instead of Microsoft Access. So that's why I was saying if I send you multiple attachments, they will be numbered 1, 2, 3. However, you gotta have. You gotta open all of them starting with number 1. Because if you don't, you're gonna miss something. Or you may text me and say, I don't see and I'll be like, well, that was attachment number so and so. And you be like, oh, I didn't open that attachment. You gotta make sure you open all your attachments, okay?
okay.
Okay, so y'all have any other questions?
No.
No? Okay, it all makes sense?
Yep. So far.
Okay. All right, so just know that the databases will be tomorrow, though, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, ladies. Well, that's all I have. I did record this session. So as soon as we get off the phone, I will save it and I'll start uploading. It usually take a few minutes for it to upload, but I will upload it. It's going to be up on the day 5 go-to meeting. And when you click on that and scroll to the bottom, you'll see the YouTube video, okay? Just in case you missed something, you'll be able to go back and listen to it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Okay, thank you ladies so much. And y'all text me if you text me or call me if you need help with anything, okay? And a lot of time when y'all call me, if I don't answer, you gotta text me because the area that I live in, because I'm surrounded by trees, sometimes my reception is not good in the house. So a lot of times I miss your call and not really aware that I've missed it. That's why I always say text me because my text messages come to my phone like a notification, which means that at the top of my app, the little icon, I have a number, like a little exclamation point or something that lets me know that I got a text message. So anytime you call me and it goes straight to voicemail or I don't pick up, you got to text me because I usually get that a little bit better.
Okay.
Because I have Wi-Fi stuff, it stay on 24/7. I don't play by no internet. That stay on 24/7. So it's not that. It's just that my reception is not good. But I don't have dial-up. I don't do dial-up. Mine is straight Wi-Fi. So but the reception is not always good. Sometimes I only have like 1 or 2 bars. So just know that if you try to contact me and you cannot get me, text me. Because then I'll get the notification.
Okay.
Plus, I get it through my email because it'll come through my Gmail email, and I check my email all day, every day. So several times a day, I'm checking email. So if I don't see it then, I'll see it in my email. Okay. I just don't want you all to
Okay.
think I'm ignoring you because I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. So if you just run into an issue, you'll be okay today. But if you run into an issue with your database tomorrow, I'd rather you contact me than to send it to me and you got a whole lot of errors. And then when you thinking you done really, really well, you really done really, really poor.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want you to think that. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, you all have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and then I'll talk to you ladies soon, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
How about Miss Gang?
Bye-bye.